The Great Departure, the grained assembly hall of the Galactic Union, stretched 4 kilometers beneath a dome of pure crystal. Its walls lined with the flags of 300 species. Today, those flags seemed to ripple with tension as Ambassador Alina Rodriguez stood at the human delegation's podium, her dark eyes scanning the faces of alien representatives who had just voted to restrict humanity's role in galactic affairs. The vote had been close, but decisive. 847 in favor, 623 against. With 112 abstentions, the Zenthari Chancellor Vextai's proposal had passed. Humanity would be limited to their current territories, banned from sharing advanced technology with other species, and excluded from the Union's governing council. Elena's voice carried across the vast chamber with quiet dignity. Esteemed members of the Galactic Union, for 50 years, humanity has contributed to this alliance with open hearts and innovative minds. We have shared our medical advances, our engineering solutions, and our agricultural techniques freely. We have fought alongside you against the Void Pirates, protected trade routes, and helped build the prosperity this galaxy now enjoys. Chancellor Vextai, his reptilian features twisted in what might have been smugness, interrupted from his elevated platform. And in doing so, humans have disrupted the natural order. Your species advances too quickly, changes too much, too fast. You threaten the stability that has kept peace for centuries. Alina smiled sadly. You fear our potential, not our actions. But fear makes poor policy, Chancellor. She turned to address the full assembly. Since the Galactic Union no longer values human partnership, humanity withdraws from this organization. Effective immediately, all human citizens, colonies, and assets will depart Union space. A shocked silence filled the chamber. Even Vextai's confident expression faltered. The Aquarian representative, Commander Thalwyn, stood abruptly. Ambassador Rodriguez, surely you don't mean a complete withdrawal. The economic disruption alone would be catastrophic. We mean exactly that, Commander, Alina replied. Humanity will not remain where we are unwanted. Captain Chen, initiate protocol Exodus. From the human section, Captain Marcus Chen activated his communication device. Across the galaxy, every human ship, station, and settlement received the same message simultaneously: come home. The exodus began within hours. Human cargo ships that had been delivering medical supplies to plague-stricken worlds turned around. Mid-journey, the human-built relay stations that enabled faster-than-light communication across the galaxy went dark as their operators abandoned their posts. Entire human colonies loaded their possessions onto massive transport vessels and departed for the outer rim. Dr. Kira Osman was among the last to leave. She had been working on Zenthari Prime, developing new fusion technology that could have revolutionized energy production across the galaxy. As she packed her research data, her Zenthari colleague Hexner pleaded with her to stay. Kira, your work here could power entire star systems cleanly for millennia. You cannot simply take it away. Kira looked at her friend with genuine sadness. I'm not taking it away, Hex. Your government is forcing me to leave. The Union voted that human technology is too dangerous to share, so we won't share it. But the implications should have been considered before the vote. Kira sealed her research containers. I hope you find another way, my friend. I truly do. Within 3 months, the human exodus was complete. 3 billion humans and their accumulated knowledge disappeared beyond the galactic rim, leaving behind only empty stations, abandoned colonies, and a growing sense of unease among the remaining Union members. The immediate effects were subtle at first. Trade routes that had operated smoothly for decades began experiencing delays as human-designed navigation systems were no longer maintained. The Universal Translator Network, largely developed and maintained by human linguists, started developing glitches that made interspecies communication increasingly difficult. Chancellor Vextai addressed these concerns in a public broadcast. The Union is experiencing minor adjustments as we transition to self-reliance. These temporary inconveniences are a small price to pay for long-term stability. But Commander Thalwyn was not convinced. From his flagship patrolling the outer rim, he had noticed something troubling. Long-range sensors were picking up unusual readings from beyond the galactic edge, structured energy signatures that didn't match any known technology. His intelligence officer, Subcommander brought him the latest sensor logs. "Sir, the readings are getting stronger and more organized. Whatever's out there, it's big, and it's moving toward our galaxy." Thalwyn studied the data with growing concern. "Have you shared this with Union Command?" "Yes, sir. They're calling it sensor ghosts, caused by the shutdown of human deep space monitoring stations. They're not taking it seriously." Meanwhile, in the Outer Rim territories, beyond the galaxy's edge, humanity was building something unprecedented. Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of New Geneva Station, watching as massive construction ships assembled the framework of humanity's new capital. The station was larger than most planets, a testament to human engineering freed from alien restrictions. Captain Chen joined her at the viewport. "The last of the colony ships have arrived. All human citizens are now accounted for and safely within our new territories. Any regrets about leaving, Marcus?" Chen considered the question carefully. "About leaving the Union? No, about what it might cost the galaxy. That's harder to answer." Elena nodded. Dr. Osman's latest reports from the research division are fascinating. Without Union restrictions, our scientists are making breakthrough after breakthrough. It's amazing what humans can accomplish when we're not constantly explaining why our ideas aren't too radical. As they spoke, Dr. Osman was indeed pushing the boundaries of human science. Her fusion research had evolved into something far more significant: the ability to manipulate space-time itself. The implications were staggering, but she kept her discoveries classified. The galaxy had rejected human partnership. They would not benefit from human innovation until that changed. Back in Union space, the problems were mounting. The Stellar Bank Consortium, which had relied heavily on human economic modeling, reported massive prediction errors in their market analyses. Agricultural worlds that had used human-developed crop rotation techniques were experiencing soil degradation. Most critically, the Deep Space Monitoring Network that watched for threats from beyond the galaxy had gone completely dark. Chancellor Vextai convened an emergency session with his closest advisors. The Zenthri's confidence was visibly shaken. As reports poured in from across Union territory, "The communication relays are failing faster than we can repair them," reported his technology minister. "We don't understand the human coding well enough to maintain the systems properly." His economic advisor added, "Trade efficiency is down 30% and dropping. The human logistics algorithms were more integral to our commerce than we realized." But it was his military commander who delivered the most troubling news. "Chancellor, our border sensors have completely failed. We have no idea what's happening beyond our outer territories. For all we know, an invasion fleet could be approaching, and we would never see it coming." Vextai, her scaled hands clenched into fists. "Find a solution." Hire freelance human technicians if necessary. We've tried, Chancellor. The humans aren't responding to our communications. It's as if they've vanished completely. Unknown to the Union, the humans had not vanished. They were watching. Hidden monitoring stations tracked every development in Union space, while human intelligence networks gathered information about the growing crisis. Elena Rodriguez received daily briefings about the chaos their departure had caused. The irony is profound, she told Captain Chen during one of their regular meetings. They expelled us because they thought we were too chaotic, too unpredictable. Now they're drowning in the chaos of our absence. What about those sensor readings from the galactic edge? Chen asked. Our long-range arrays are picking up the same anomalies that Commander Thalwyn reported. Something big is definitely heading this way. Elena's expression grew serious. How long until it reaches Union space? Dr. Osman estimates 3 months, maybe less. And based on the energy signatures, it's not friendly. The first signs of the approaching threat appeared as isolated incidents. A deep space mining operation in the Union's outer territories went silent. A patrol squadron investigating the disappearance never returned. Then an entire star system's communication array went dark. Commander Thalwyn, despite Union commands, dismissal of his warnings, had quietly assembled a small task force to investigate. What they found horrified him. The mining operation hadn't just been destroyed, it had been consumed. The asteroids, the space stations, even the debris field, had been processed into something else entirely. By the depths, whispered his sensor officer. What could do this? Their answer came in the form of a massive energy signature appearing at the edge of their detection range. It was a ship, but unlike anything in their databases. Kilometers long, its surface seeming to shift and flow like liquid metal. It radiated power that dwarfed entire fleets. Thalwyn ordered an immediate retreat to Union space, but he knew it was too late for secrecy. The scouts had been detected, and the unknown enemy now knew the location of the galaxy. As his task force jumped to hyperspace, he could see more massive shapes emerging from the void behind them. The invasion had begun. The reckoning's 6 months had passed since humanity's exodus from the Galactic Union, and the crisis that Commander Thalwyn had feared was now reality. The beings called themselves the Kethfa, and they consumed everything in their path. Their ships, massive organic technological hybrids, could strip entire worlds bare in days, converting matter into more ships, more weapons, more soldiers. The first Union worlds fell without warning. The planet Zarian Prime, home to 12 billion beings, was reduced to a barren rock in less than a week. The few survivors who managed to escape brought tales of horror, enemy soldiers that seemed to be part machine, part living tissue, and entirely without mercy. Chancellor Vexty found himself facing the greatest crisis in Union history. In the Emergency War Council, his advisors painted a grim picture. Our fleet engagements have been disasters, reported Admiral Keckstone. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. Our weapons barely scratch their ships, while they can destroy our dreadnoughts with single shots. The economic situation is equally dire, added the finance minister. Refugee populations are overwhelming our support systems, and we're burning through military resources faster than we can produce them. Vexty's chief of staff delivered the most damning assessment. Chancellor, our computer models project complete Union defeat within 8 months. The Kethfa consume everything they capture, growing stronger while we grow weaker. We need a miracle. It was Commander Thalwyn who spoke the truth that everyone was thinking, but none wanted to voice. We need the humans. The chamber fell silent. Finally, Vextai's voice cracked as he spoke. The humans withdrew beyond the galactic rim. We have no way to contact them, and even if we did, why would they help us after what we did? Because that's what humans do, Thalwyn replied simply. It's what they've always done. Unknown to the Union leadership, humanity had been monitoring the Kethva invasion from the beginning. Dr. Kira Osman had been analyzing their technology, searching for weaknesses, while human strategists developed battle plans. But the decision to act would not come from the military or the scientists. It would come from the heart of human leadership. Elena Rodriguez stood in the command center of New Geneva Station, watching the tactical displays that showed the Kethva advance. Each red marker represented a consumed world, billions of lives lost. Her aide approached with the latest intelligence reports. Ambassador, the Union's defensive lines have collapsed at Sector 7. The Kethva will reach the core worlds within 6 weeks. Alina closed her eyes, feeling the weight of an impossible decision. Around her, the command center buzzed with activity as human forces prepared for operations that might never come. Captain Chen approached with a question she'd been dreading. Alina, the fleet is ready. We can strike the Kethva supply lines within hours if you give the word. But I need to know, are we doing this? 3 billion human lives to save 3 trillion alien ones, Alina murmured. Lives of people who voted us into exile. The same people who are now facing extinction, Chen replied gently. You know what humanity's answer will be. The question is whether you can live with that answer. Elena thought of her daughter, safe in human space, but growing up in a galaxy where entire civilizations were being consumed. She thought of Commander Thalwyn, who had always treated humans with respect. She thought of her former colleague Hexner, who might already be dead. Send the message, she decided. All frequencies, all languages. Tell the Union that humanity is willing to help, but only as equals. No more restrictions, no more second-class status. Partnership or nothing. The message reached Union space at the exact moment when Chancellor Vextai was receiving reports of the fall of Zenthari Prime's outer colonies. His homeworld was now directly threatened, and his government was in complete chaos. When the communication officer announced an incoming message from human space, the War Council chamber went silent. Alina Rodriguez's image appeared on the main screen, and even through the transmission, her presence commanded attention. Members of the Galactic Union, she began, humanity has observed your struggle against the Kethva invasion. We know your situation is desperate, and we are prepared to offer assistance. Vextai leaned forward, hope and humiliation warring in his expression. Ambassador Rodriguez, the Union formally requests human military assistance against the Kethva threat. We are prepared to offer significant compensation. Alina held up a hand. Chancellor, we are not mercenaries. Our help comes with conditions. First, humanity will be readmitted to the Union as full members with voting rights. Second, all restrictions on human technology sharing are permanently removed. Third, human colonies expelled during the Exodus will be granted independence if they choose it. And if we refuse, Vextai asked, though they both knew he had no choice, then humanity will defend our own territory and leave you to face the Kethva alone. You have 1 hour to decide. The vote was unanimous. Within hours, human fleets were jumping into Union space, but they brought more than just ships. Dr. Osman's breakthrough in space-time manipulation had yielded weapons that could match Kethva technology. Human tactical doctrine, based on adaptation and innovation rather than rigid hierarchy, proved perfectly suited to fighting an unknown enemy. The first major engagement took place at the Battle of Kepler Station. A massive Kethva fleet was preparing to consume the system when Captain Chun's task force arrived. The human ships were smaller and fewer in number, but they fought with a coordination that the aliens had never encountered. Human vessels transmitted the Kethva command ship, "You will be consumed like all the others. Your defiance is meaningless." Chun's response was broadcast on all frequencies. "We're humans. Meaningless defiance is what we do best." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the Kethva fleet was scattered debris, while the human task force had lost only 3 ships. But more importantly, Dr. Osman's analysis teams had captured intact Kethva technology, finally revealing the enemy's weaknesses. "They're not as advanced as they appear," she explained to the Joint Human Union Command Staff. "Their ships are grown, not built. They can heal and adapt, but they can't innovate. They fight the same way every time because it's literally programmed into their biology." Elena Rodriguez smiled as she studied the tactical analyses. "So they're powerful, but predictable. And if there's one thing humans excel at, it's exploiting predictability." The counteroffensive began within a month. Human-designed weapons systems were rapidly manufactured and distributed to Union forces. More importantly, human tactical officers were assigned to every major fleet, teaching alien commanders to think creatively about combat. Commander Thalwyn found himself working directly with human strategists, and the experience was revelatory. "You change your battle plans in the middle of engagements," he observed after a particularly successful operation. "Your ships don't follow standard formations at all." His human liaison, Colonel Sarah Martinez, laughed. "Standard formations are predictable. The Kethva expect their enemies to fight by established rules. We make up new rules as we go." The liberation of occupied worlds revealed the true horror of Kethva methods. Entire planetary populations had been processed into biological components for their war machine. But it also revealed something else. The Kethva had never encountered real resistance before. Their expansion through other galaxies had met only static defenses and conventional tactics. Dr. Osman's teams made another crucial discovery while examining captured Kethva command nodes. "They're not actually independent," she reported to Alina and the Union leadership. "Every ship, every soldier is connected to a central intelligence somewhere beyond this galaxy. Cut that connection, and their coordination collapses." "Can we locate this central intelligence?" asked Chancellor Vextai, who had become one of humanity's strongest supporters since the crisis began. "Already done," Alina replied with satisfaction. "But reaching it will require every ship in the combined Human Union fleet. And even then, success isn't guaranteed." The final battle took place in the void between galaxies, where the Kethva hive mind maintained its massive command structure. The combined fleet faced odds that should have been impossible, but they had advantages the enemy couldn't comprehend: unpredictability, creativity, and the simple human refusal to accept defeat. As the fleets engaged in the vast emptiness of intergalactic space, Alina Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the flagship Defiance, watching as human and alien ships fought together with perfect coordination. The irony was not lost on her. It had taken an extinction-level threat to achieve the cooperation that should have been natural. The battle raged for 2 days. When it ended, the Kethva command structure was a spreading cloud of debris. and their galaxy-spanning empire began collapsing as its components lost their central coordination. In the aftermath, as rescue ships recovered survivors from both sides, Alina received a personal communication from Chancellor Vextai, the proud. Zenthari leader looked tired but genuinely grateful. Ambassador Rodriguez, owe you an apology. The Union owes humanity an apology. We feared your potential for change, but it was that very ability to change and adapt that saved us all. Elena's response was gracious but firm. The galaxy is stronger when all species contribute their unique strengths, Chancellor. We hope. That lesson has been learned. 1 year later, Alina stood once again in the Great Assembly Hall of the Galactic Union, but now as an equal partner rather than a supplicant. The hall had been rebuilt to accommodate new member species and to celebrate the diversity that had proven so crucial to their survival. The memorial wall displayed the names of 3 trillion beings lost to the Kethva, but also the names of those who had died fighting for their freedom. Human names stood alongside Zenthari, Aquarian, and hundreds of other species, proof that heroism knows no biological boundaries. Dr. Kira Osman had become the Union's chief science officer, leading research teams that combined the best minds from across the galaxy. Her fusion technology was transforming energy production, while her space-time research promised to revolutionize interstellar travel. Captain Chen, now Admiral Chen, commanded the Union's new Rapid Response Fleet, a mixed-species force designed to handle any future threats with the same adaptability and innovation that had defeated the Kethba. But perhaps the most important change was philosophical. The Union had learned that diversity was not a threat to stability. It was the foundation of resilience. Different species brought different perspectives, different solutions, different ways of seeing problems that might seem impossible to solve. As Alina prepared to address the Assembly on the anniversary of humanity's return, she reflected on the lesson that had cost so much to learn: fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of losing control. These fears had nearly doomed an entire galaxy. Only by embracing change, by welcoming the unknown, by sharing control, had they found the strength to survive. Members of the Galactic Union, she began, we gather today not to celebrate victory, but to remember the price of division. The Kethva were a formidable enemy, but our greatest enemy was our own fear of each other. When we stand together, respecting our differences, while working toward common goals, we become something greater than the sum of our parts. We become unstoppable. The applause that followed was genuine and sustained, coming from beings who had learned the hard way that cooperation wasn't just an ideal. It was a necessity for survival in a dangerous universe. And in the depths of space, human monitoring stations kept watch on the void between galaxies, ready to sound the alarm if any new threat emerged. The galaxy had learned its lesson about preparation, about unity, and about the incredible things that could be accomplished when different species worked together instead of apart. The age of fear was over. The age of cooperation had begun.